Welcome back to the EU Spring Regionals here for 2016 in Katowice. I am Wolf. With me is Kendrick. How are you feeling about these drafts going into Game 3?
So I do absolutely agree with Dreadnought saying that they've got tier 1 heroes in every single position. However, the only thing I might actually say about that also is the fact that it's very predictable. I mean, they have heroes with heroics like Devouring Maw, Mosh Pit, Void Prism, so you can sort of anticipate how they want to play their stuff. And if Virtus.Pro manages to maybe catch them off guard or maybe to anticipate their moves very, very well, I think they might stand a chance. But on paper, let's be honest, Fnatic, it's Fnatic's game to win.
Yeah, that it definitely is. I would have to go with the Yu-Gi-Oh references from before with the Dark Magician here in Zeratul. But let's take a look at these players, where they're playing. Smexy, of course, on Rhaegar. Breeze, yet again, on ETC. Quagnix will be on Greymane. He's quite a good one. Shrimpy is going to be on Zagara, and Athero Angel will be Zeratul.
And for Virtus.Pro, they're sending to the battlefield Zevkaja on Thrall. Neon playing Li Ming again. Very excited to see if he can repeat his former success. Power of Dream on the Johanna, Lunar and Karazim, and BKB as Murden.
All right, well, the map, Towers of Doom. It is loaded, the players are inside. On the left side, in blue, it is Team Fnatic.
And their opponents in this deciding match are Virtus.Pro.
Here we go, this is the deciding match. The winner will go to Group B winners. And that gives you basically an extra life in this group and can send you, actually, if you win it, straight out of the group. And that means you show less games, so less games for your opponents to study perhaps in the future. If you get out, you get more time to rest and practice. So everybody would love to get out of the group in first place. Not only that, you get a better seed into the semis.
It's actually very important that you really want to finish first place, because then you might have a chance of actually facing a quote-unquote weaker opponent, right?
Yeah.
Because nobody who's making it to Korea is weak, but it could just be an opponent that you might want to face a little bit more.
Sure. Well, I mean, you just get the better seed. You
Yeah.
get an easier opponent when it comes to how the tournament has been playing from the other side of the groups. But we do see, again, I love that. I mean, Zeratul in Korea is played differently than it is in Europe, and I do like that Europeans, a very early kill here on Li Ming. Did not expect that. Not super important here in this early game, but the Regen Master gives you so much more roamability for Zeratul, and I think that one of the reasons why he's so strong is not only because of his Void Prism with this comp, but because he can be on top of Li Ming, constantly pressure, never allow her to do that siege damage on the towers.
Exactly, and once again, we do have a very strong laning setup here for Team Fnatic, as we've already pointed out. Zagara dominant for Zeratul, Deadly Roamer rotating around the map constantly. Then we do have Greymane, who can also become a real bully. You know, great range, great wave clear, and a strong single target duelist damage as well.
Well, that top lane battle going on, actually pretty even trades. Kaja getting a little bit of an advantage in that last exchange. But again, these two teams do not actually commit to roaming, too often. And when they do, like in this case, usually everyone's on their side of the lane, so nothing too crazy happens. We don't see a lot of early kills, but besides the Li Ming, this might be one of them, though. Athero comes in, and Thrall just got baited.
So sometimes overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer, because if you want to overextend, that can actually go wrong quite often. And Athero Angel not paying attention, you actually have to expect that if you overstep the middle of your lane, a Zeratul might be nearby, especially when Zagara, sometimes players actually give away too much information by playing overly aggressive when they actually should run away.
Yeah, so that's the thing. It was just it was a clever bait.
Yeah, exactly.
Now with these first altars have spawned, we are going to see the contestant here in the bot, and obviously VP with the push away here, but I don't think they will be able to channel here, although Smexy taking a ton of damage on that orb, and that actually may be enough to turn the tides and allow Virtus.Pro to get that first turn in, or channel, I suppose, and they will.
So yeah, Towers of Doom, Wolf, is a map that plays a little bit slower than most other maps, because of course we don't have the chance to go face on the enemy core directly. Instead, you just have to wait until new altars have actually spawned. So if you lose the first one, look at that, it's just 36 against 40. You still have plenty of options to get a little bit of momentum in your favor.
It's one of the only maps I'm trying to think if there's even an exception to this. Actually, I think it is literally the only map in the pool where the objective does not give EXP because you don't actually kill anything with it. It just literally puts your opponent's health down. It's like a game of Yu-Gi-Oh, if you will. Your life points of your opponent get attacked directly when you actually go ahead and take that shrine. So when you take a shrine like this, if you commit to it with huge bodies, and Zagara is soloing the top lane, suddenly you get half a level ahead. And that's what we see here. Fnatic, even though they lost 4 health on their core that they'll never be able to get back, Zagara did get that extra EXP and push those towers down. And on this map, if you're new to Heroes, when you kill a fort, you actually control it. It becomes yours. So it's important to push those down as soon as possible.
Yeah, also there's an interesting boss enemy, so to speak, called the Headless Horseman. And if you're talking about Yu-Gi-Oh cards and stuff, you don't want to activate that Throw Pit card because the Headless Horseman deals more damage than any other boss enemy in the game.
Yeah, it's the most powerful boss. It is easy to disengage off of, but if you commit to it, you're really committing quite a lot. If you get caught there, you will die, but it will also do direct damage to the core. It doesn't actually push a lane like normal bosses. This map is very unique in that respect. It's actually one of my favorites because of that, because it doesn't really snowball from objectives. Uh-oh, Power of Dream getting caught up here in the front. Will actually be able to stone skin away. It looks like it may have been intentional there as they trade very well with Breeze. Shempi, meanwhile, will get this channel. He's going to send the first 4 missiles to Virtus.Pro's side.
Yeah, and we also saw Rhaegar falling here. Nice pickup there. And something that I also want to highlight here is that Sevkaja is playing my personal favorite build here on Thrall. And he goes for a Chain Lightning, 1 and 4, nothing special. But then at level 7 we have Follow Through. Being able to use that at level 16 with a Forked Lightning, going to be really, really powerful to constantly get these procs off and deal massive amount of damage.
Massive damage indeed. We see Athero actually rotating up here. Thought might actually we'd see it engage on Power Dream, but it's not going to happen. As would have been able to easily escape. Big invade here. Meanwhile, a Neon gets blown up. And that was just, I don't even want to say that was Neon's mistake, but a very clever and quick move by Fnatic.
Yeah, this map is also sometimes very predictable, right? Because there aren't really necessarily many mercenary camps, so the amount of objectives is very limited. So if you check it out every once in a while, especially with a Zeratul who is invisible and can act as that scouting unit, you can actually catch a hero off guard, and that's exactly what Fnatic managed to able to do there.
And this actually, hold that thought, we're going to see another big engage here on BKB. He's actually going to go forward and engage because Power of Dream will rotate down with Sevkaja. And actually, he's going to get stunned. Squagnix is and tries to just dash away to get back into human form, but will be picked up. Virtus.Pro picks up their 2nd kill here. And, you know, I want to talk about these Merc camps again because we're talking about the uniqueness of the map. We did explain to some, you know, newer viewers or maybe some viewers that have come back after taking some of it hiatus because it is like the newest map. They will do tons of AoE damage, and they will also suicide onto cannons. They're very powerful in that way. If you can actually escort them to the end of the map, they will also do direct damage to the core. It's rare that you can actually get them there, but if you can, that's actually, you know, direct damage. So very important to take those. Neon getting palmed here. So basically wasting a heroic, but will not be procced.
And that Wolf is very important to see here, but we do get a Marsh. Wimpy dropping it. The Banelings right after, and there we go. Marsh Pit not really there yet.
Double kill here going down, and both teams, of course, hitting 10, but Fnatic, with this win on this fight, will get this free channel. But it's not going to be a huge deal. It's just going to be 4 more health to the core. There's no other objectives that they're going to really be able to capitalize on here. And they won't be able to even push down simply a fort.
Yeah, something I was going to say earlier before that Maw went down is that you saw the Divine Palm coming out very early, Lunar not hesitating at all, and when you have these panic buttons, these life-saving heroics like Answers for Healing or Divine Palm, you always want to use them a little bit too early rather than too late, because the enemies will react to it. They won't continue to focus down that target if the Divine Palm is on it, so nice reactions there.
Oh, a big Blessed Shield into that huge Sundering. Athero is going to get slowed here and killed. Neon, the sniper, in this best of 3, always with some excellent disintegrates, man. He's basically a sniper.
He really is an arcane sniper, very scary indeed. But you know, although Virtus.Pro is getting a kill over there and here and there, Fnatic still manages to maintain at least an even footing in terms of global XP. And you know, when you destroy structures and you sort of capture a bell tower and make it your own, you're also giving a little bit of extra XP to the enemy team as well. So it kind of balances out again.
Yeah, it's funny because that is very true, right? And so if you take that idea, you know, if you're a newer person to this map, you might not actually understand why would you ever want to do that then, because you get some XP, but your opponent gets the better scaling EXP later. It gives you more shots. So that see that X for the Violent means that's actually how many towers you have available to fire on your opponent's core, plus your next self does count as one. But that you take them because you get a little bit of control over the minion waves and you get vision, but also you do more damage when you take an altar.
Exactly, and very often do we see that, especially during the later stages of the game, that teams will constantly be rotating to get one bell tower after the other, because once you control every single bell tower on the map, you're going to constantly shoot the enemy core.
That's actually true. Very rare for that to occur, but it does happen every now and then. Big stuns going down here. Chain together. So Kaja actually safe, and Quacknix way overextends. He will just jump right into, he slides into his own grave there. And that's going to be another double kill for Virtus.Pro. Start to take an EXP lead. Both cores even at 28.
And that, in my opinion, is the power of that follow-through Thrall build. I mean, we really saw these two squishy targets like Greymane and Zeratul melting like butter. Strong burst damage coming in here, and VP on the march.
Well, a bunch of damage being done counter-wise tier 2 VP, but there's nothing else that they actually can do to basically continue the push. They're actually just going to walk back, disengaging here. Taking a look at how these fights are going, I feel like Virtus.Pro is taking the better, like they're doing what people like to say on the Korean server is cutting. They're actually just basically getting picks, getting a hero here or two heroes there with some sick heroics, but just put their heroics on cooldown. They're weaker for a time, but I feel like Fnatic has the better damage overall. They have the better composition for the late game. They also have Mosh, which they can use.
Something very cool that we also just saw on Karazim is the level 4 Foresight talent. Whenever he uses a Radiant Dash, it's actually going to reveal a small area around him. Very good, of course, against that Zeratul, also against Nova, if we would ever see her in competitive play.
Sure. I mean, it also gives you a lot of extra vision of camps, for example. I mean, it's not bad. It's like basically a Tastar's trait on a short cooldown. Double stun here again. BKB jumps in with a Dwarf Toss to actually try to commit, but they're way too close. So I don't even know the official name for what happens when you try to go towards the core, but you don't want to be there. You don't want to engage onto that.
It's the dead zone.
It's the mega keep. It's no man's land. But yeah, we also have C Haymaker in this game, which we haven't talked about too much. BKB actually accidentally saved Shrimpy in that last fight with that, but it can be very powerful. It's not that popular yet. Athero drops down a VP here. Not very impactful, and will actually have to be Ancestral.
Yeah, the Haymaker is a very interesting point to bring up there, Wolf, because every now and then we see him, or we see Murden pick Haymaker when you do have another multiple crowd control heroic ability like the Sun Ring. You just kick someone away so that that person can save it.
Just like this, when he gets stunned and knocked right in the middle of the fight. Quacknix does pick up a kill as well, but this Mosh is huge. Look at all the AoE damage. They need to disengage now. Way too early on that palm on Neon, but Athero will have to bounce away, blink away there after that attempted disintegrate kill.
Now, they got a really good mosh pit, but for some reason, the damage just wasn't there. I think abilities must have been on cooldown or simply out of position, the damage dealers, that is. But here we go.
Athero is coming in, and it actually does, with that Vorpal Slash, jump in and kill Neon.
Okay, we need to see a Radiant Dash right now to uncover Athero. Otherwise, he might actually get away. The blink last second.
Barely gets away. Sick body blocks, even by Quacknix here to save him. He will actually get away. And Fnatic will even up EXP. 7 kills to 7 kills. Nexus hit points very close here. And now the tunnel exit, of course, has opened in the middle of the map, so you can get right back into the action very, very early.
Yeah, that was beautiful. Not only do we see clutch team fights, but if you took a look at the global XP, it's exactly even. 7 kills against 7 kills. The game is, it's basically everybody's game here. In Virtus.Pro, they're not letting themselves get discouraged. I actually like the Haymaker there. BKB opening up the fight here very well, and we might get to see another one here.
I'm not entirely sure why Power Dream was over here, but a Sundering may save him here. Does barely get away there. Perhaps just simply trying to scout and push this lane, trying to escort these Pumpkin men towards this this fort. It would be the first fort to die all game, actually. There's been so much fighting away from the forts, the minion waves have just basically been left to naturally push. and we haven't actually seen, you know, any escorting of those pumpkin men to try to finish them off. So both teams are actually favoring fighting and trying to get kills and picks to get an altar rather than actually trying to push down those forts.
Yeah, and you know, Towers of Doom is a very tactical, very strategical map as well, especially when we have multiple altars active at the same time later on. You have to have good map awareness and good game sense in order to make that right call, because sometimes if you sort of abandon a bell tower, for example, that might actually cost you dearly.
Yeah. Because you never get that. There's no shields on this map.
Exactly.
You're never going to get that health back. You just literally can't.
Here we go. We get to see the upper bell tower taken over by Virtus.Pro. They now have an advantage, but in the bottom lane we see Greymane split pushing, evening out the sort of disadvantage that Fnatic had for a very short period.
I worry about VP's positioning here. They're all stacked up on top of each other. Big root there on the Shrimpy meanwhile. And that actually is going to try to get them around. Breeze's positioning here is basically perfect. He zones them out. They can't go to that choke point. And because of Breeze's moves there and actually how Fnatic decided to zone them there, they just have Greymane go down. He was already pushing bot. And because that next altar came down their bot, it was perfect for him. So that was a huge win there for Fnatic because they got a fort for free. I think that's like the graveyard. And they all have specific names, but they're all basically forts or bell towers. I like calling that. And also that damage to the core.
And something that I also want to highlight, because you really see it in competitive play a lot, in solo queue, not always so much, is that warriors really always are the first ones to go in. They always should face check. They always should be on the lead in order to potentially block skill shots, something like a Zeratul even, or something like an ETC power slide. They want to be the ones protecting the backline. And if you are a warrior player yourself, always make sure to let your team know that you should be the one to go in first.
Absolutely. It's a great tip even for newer players for sure, whether it's Quick Match or Hero League. Breeze has kind of been absorbing a lot of abuse in this game, of course, with all the damage he's taken because of this zoning. 27k damage to be exact. I just checked. But he's always in the right place at the right time, which is giving them these small advantages. I mean, we are as even as it gets here. Virtus.Pro's up about like a fourth of a level, and the Nexus health is exactly even at 24, 7 kills apiece. It's essentially a rotation race for EXP to get 21st.
And the longer games go on Towers of Doom, the more intense and the more hectic they're going to get. Because right now, as you can see, 24 against 24, no team really at the brink of dying. But as the HP of your core drops, you're actually going to have to risk a lot more in order to save these altars.
Yeah, Virtus.Pro is also taking more altar control here. They're actually just going to do a little bit of harassment here onto Neon. But every time they end up taking the bell towers, as you like calling them, just a fort, when they kill one, if it gets retaken by Fnatic, while that one hero is retaking it or moving it to push out, they take another one. So they've been basically consistently. This is the first time it's evened up to 4.
Yeah, exactly. And now we have a very interesting scenario going on. 3 altars spawning at the same time, and we can... Oh, what? Nobody came to that party.
Big mosh pit fail there. BKB taking a lot of damage. Amag goes down as well. Murden will be the first to fall here. And, you know, when you actually go for Haymaker, you lose a lot of survivability. Lunar will have to palm himself, but I don't think it's going to save him here, eating so much damage from those Banelings. Barely escapes there, actually. I think that might have been a mistake by Fnatic. And also a bit of a mistake there on the Wormhole Blink, as Neon will just simply get away. I think both of these teams are feeling some nerves here.
So if I were Breeze, I would just be like, all planned. No, mind games. We baited them to come in. They saw the mosh pit not hitting anyone. Ooh, another kill against Virtus.Pro here, and it's actually that interesting that you brought that up, Wolf, because one of the major weaknesses that other teams think about Fnatic is their nervousness. They are getting nervous. Although they are experienced star players like Quacknix or Breeze in their ranks, they tend to get a little bit frantic and hectic at some point.
And another thing to point out is I think this is something that a lot of people don't talk about in esports, no matter what game you're talking about. You know, where you're talking about StarCraft, you're talking about Heroes, or even you're talking about Hearthstone. Younger players have a lot of talent, and it's usually, like, obviously better if your team has a younger player because he has a lot more time to foster that talent. But sometimes that can actually lead to nerves.
Yeah.
And when you're dealing with a 1v1 sport like StarCraft, sometimes that doesn't come into play as much. But when you're dealing with 4 other members of your team, that can really add up. Now, Fnatic has hit 20. They do have their bolts. They have rewind. And this is going to be a scary time for Virtus as they hold on a little bit longer. But it is currently 6-2 on forts. Yeah. And they're down to 16 health on that core.
And this is where Fnatic is constantly going to be rotating, utilizing their advantage as long as they have it. They want to get more bell towers, of course. And if you take a look at the Storm Talons on Fnatic's side, by the way, we see a double rewind coming in on Rhaegar as well as Zeratul. So Zeratul going to be able to blink a little bit more often and, you know, Rhaegar being able to heal a little bit more often. You usually see rewind on Lightning Shield builds. This game, not so much, but in return, you're going to be able to use more chain healings, which is also very, very good.
I think it's because they know that the longer the fight goes, the more advantages they have, unless Li Ming starts to get resets, right? Especially because Muradin doesn't have Avatar. He has Haymakers, so he doesn't have as much survivability, so the longer the fight goes, he eventually will lose out to a tank like ETC when you have that extra heal with the Lightning, or the Rewind.
Exactly. So Muradin, I'm just waiting for that moment when Muradin is going to Haymaker someone into their own dead zone close to their core. It's always very funny to watch. Not going to happen anytime soon, though, because both teams are now focusing more on gaining back objective control, getting the bell towers back, and they're sort of clumping around the Headless Horseman. As time goes by, the Headless Horseman, who's providing 4 shots on the enemy core, is going to get more and more significant, because sometimes you can just abandon an altar and go for the Headless Horseman instead.
Exactly, and the longer, you know, once you get to like level 23, 24, I mean, you're scaled so high, you can actually kill it very quickly. With certain compositions. Athero is looking for a solid VP here to set up the engage and the combo. You can see him down here at the bottom. He jumps in onto Sukaja, but not going to commit. Big cocktail damage going down. BKB up at the front here, trying to grab one of those Haymakers, but does not find it.
And now a very tense situation here. Virtus.Pro sort of being forced to just react. They really want to just prevent Fnatic from getting the turn in. Not successful this time. Smexy doing a good job at you know, turning it in, and Neon does what he's doing best.
Oh, there goes the Blessed Shield, and then Seshral does not proc. A 2-man Maw does go down. Swimpy will escape, but 1 man down already, though, with Zeratul dead. Let's see how much Virtus.Pro can push this.
And although Virtus.Pro, oh, there goes the ancestral healing, was way too late.
A second one misses here.
Another one. So yeah, it's really like, we've seen it times and times again in this tournament so far that ancestral healings are too late. They have to be used too early rather than too late. That's what we mentioned earlier, Wolf, didn't we? And many supports just are doing these, I don't want to call them beginner mistakes or something, but maybe they overestimate
nerves.
them.
I feel like it's nerves again.
Exactly.
Both these teams are playing so scared of each other, and that's often a good thing, but in this case, you know, it sometimes can cost you big. We even see an early popped Storm Shield here. That's not when they wanted it. It was for safety. They are going to grab those extra 4 shots, which will tie the Nexus health at 12. This is actually just like game 1. Very, very close.
Yeah. And although we mentioned earlier that Fnatic on paper looks like a super all-star lineup, I mean, tier 1 heroes on every single position, Virtus.Pro, man, they're playing extremely well. And I think another big asset that's helping them here is the map of choice here, because on Towers of Doom you don't have these classical team fights where you just wombo combo an enemy team and then finish for the core. Instead, you get a wombo combo, great, but you just have to.
You can't kill the core.
Exactly.
You never have to worry about backdoors. You never have to worry about you know, oh, should I have to Hearth back there? Are they coming? We don't have vision. So sometimes you see teams just roam around as 5, and I think that's part of the reason why we see Karazim actually have that vision talent, because you're roaming around as 5, you don't know where they are, and then suddenly you find them, oh, they're in the lane. They took that fort, but we took a fort too, so we're still 4-4. In this case, it's 5-3 just for the time being. But we could see some Pumpkinman escorts coming up. It looks to be that basically these teams are trying to get picks into altars to finish the game. So a very slow style, but that's how this map plays.
And look at that, 2 altars going to be active very soon. So it could be a 50-50 trade once more. And the closer that gets to the end, the more intense these games are going to be. Beautiful shield glare though by Power.
Oh, Breeze comes in with a power slide and gets a great mosh with it. Also a condemned to follow it up. There's a multi-man Maw. Neo at the back doing all that extra damage, dropping down the magic missiles. Only 1 kill on Virtus.Pro so far, but Breeze coming in. There's the kill on Muradin, and Lunarn may be next to go. Oh, a great bolt forward to try to knock him back. He heals himself, will survive for now, but Neon will not.
Wow, what a battle here. Fnatic diving deep into the bell tower here, but securing themselves another kill. 4 people dead on the side of Virtus.Pro.
Now's time to take those mercs.
Yeah.
They've got to get those mercs, and they can escort them now. With 40, 50 seconds left on some of these death timers, I think it's time to escort those in. Get that extra damage.
Exactly. You've got 2 options right now. Either you try to go for all the bell towers and you know, slowly but surely dwindling down the enemy core. Or, as you said, Wolf, you could take the Zappers and try to escort them on the bottom lane. Both possibilities take a little bit of time. I think Fnatic goes for the Bell Towers here because that way you also provide a little bit more lane control, vision control, and you can potentially, you know, observe the enemy movements.
You have vision. You know, It gives you vision. It also makes you so much more threatening. Because, obviously, because of the constant firing that will occur. Here's 5 more damage, which will put Virtus.Pro at 7 health.
8 against 7.
Very, very close.
Yeah, this is getting really scary for Virtus.Pro at this moment here. As we mentioned earlier already, they do have great wave clear, especially Johanna and Li Ming in that regard, but so does Fnatic. And, you know, being able to just whittle down minion wave after minion wave, getting Bell Towers very easily at that point of the game, is just causing lightning reactions here. Both teams have to react very fast. They have to be on their toes in order not to lose another altar at this stage of the game.
All right, Breeze in perfect position here. This is, again, that vision that's so important because party bushes are what's the name of the game in this late game sometimes. Breeze actually has to bolt away. A huge Sundering comes down as well. And we do see that Haymaker knocking Quagnix into the fray. The Maw does catch 2. Quagnix actually kind of just running through everybody, trying to get back onto his side of the map. Breeze is the first to fall, however. And Power of Dream actually going up in here as well. And Throw accidentally wormholes into the middle of the fight again. He's lucky to escape with his life.
Good thing he has Rewind at his disposal because the wormhole didn't really work there. Actually brought him closer to the enemy as intended. But once again, this is just so crazy. Fnatic wins a team fight, then it's Virtus.Pro's turn, and you can really see that being displayed in the amount of health that the cores have. 8 against 7, and it's every team's game. It's just incredibly awesome.
Boss respawns in 45 seconds, so that's something else to keep in mind because that will actually put either team essentially on match point at the next altar. So keep a close eye onto that. I don't think it's available for either team, but with a wipe like that, it's time to grab a boss. As Smexy here getting stunned and slowed, the Haymaker coming down as well, and he will be blown up. And that actually might be enough for them to go and take that boss. It's going to be up in like 20 seconds or so. It's very close. And also the altar's up. If they can grab this altar and then rotate to the boss, that's game.
At the exact same moment almost, are there going to be able another altar and the Headless Horseman? And as you mentioned it, the kill on the support here on Smexy could prove to be fatal for Fnatic. The Temporal Flux on Li Ming is just ever so good.
Now, keep in mind for this channel, it does not put Virtus.Pro on match point even if they get the boss because they'll have 1 health left. So they can actually just let this channel go if they feel like they can't contest it because it's not going to be as important.
They didn't take it, right?
Virtus.Pro just walks away.
They're waiting for another Bell Tower.
Yep, and that's going to even it up 4 and 4.
Wow, that's quite risky in my opinion because you give Fnatic more time to actually regroup.
You know, it's an interesting choice because they could do the math, right? They know it's not match point on the boss or the next altar if they do take it there, but I would have taken it. Neon gets blown up, though, and this is huge because, remember, Fnatic is going to be able to get that if they grab this 4 and grab the boss. That's game over. A big Maw going down here, actually not only grabbing 1, but zoning the rest of these out. Quagnix will get blown up, meanwhile, and here comes Smexy. A big VP here. How are they going to follow it up?
Are they going to follow it? Here comes the dance party. 2 people are being caught right now. Lerner can't really join the fight.
I think this might be too much.
Oh my god, the Divine Pump connects, but it's not enough. Virtus.Pro is falling apart, and their moment here, when they could have taken the Bell Tower, actually...
It's going to cost them the game.
Exactly.
Because now you channel this altar. It's going to be 3 health left, and they can just go straight for the boss.
And the Headless Horseman is also ripe for the taking.
Yeah.
4 people available or down for Virtus.Pro. What are you going to do about that?
I don't think they can do anything. This is game. They're just going to kill it. And that's going to end the game. What's he going to do? He's going to try to steal it? That's the only thing he can try to do. He can try to steal the boss. If he does not steal this, that's game over, and I don't think he can do it.
No, Johanna is a beefy monster, but even Johanna can't survive against 4 people at the same time, I'm afraid. The Headless Horseman deals a lot of damage to Fnatic.
Oh, he's trying to steal. It's not going to happen. GG! And Fnatic will take one of our longest and closest series, the very first match of Group B. It all goes back to them not channeling that one shrine, that one altar when they had the opportunity. Very, very close games.
Greed, Wolf, is a sin that gets punished very, very harsh at points, and this is exactly what happened here. I mean, I can sort of understand the reason behind it because they really wanted to make or to deal as much damage as possible, but being so greedy and so bold to just not take it in order to just get one more point of damage done, cost them the game here. Insane.
Yeah, I think the safer choice was definitely to take it. You know, it's definitely easier said than done on our caster chair, right?
Exactly.
We're like the armchair generals looking at this. But it is what ended up costing them the game. That and the follow-up engage, which was not good enough.
And look at the sportsmanship here. BKB, he knows every single team member of Fnatic here very well. And once again, kudos to Virtus.Pro being a dark horse here on that tournament. I think nobody expected the games to be that close and that exciting.
Every single one of those 3 games could have gone either way.
Exactly, yeah.
Very, very close. And I have to say, I was really impressed with Virtus.Pro. Even though they're going down a loser's match, don't count them out. But guys, after we've taken a look at this series, we are going to jump to an interview. So we're going to jump to that in the stage in just a moment. It looks like they are set up and ready. So take it away.
Thank you. I'm here with Quacknix, and that was, well, congratulations. With Towers of Doom, we don't see that map that often. How do you feel if you play that map? Do you feel strong or, well...
Yeah, like we have been playing the map like quite a lot, and obviously Vikings are a go for on that map, which we didn't get. But since we have practiced it so much, like it was a comfort map for us because everybody knows since before as well that Curse is our best map. So like I guess they were expecting Curse, and that's why we went for Towers.
Okay, and next match will be against Team Liquid. How do you feel about that?
Well, I was really nervous going into this one, and I'm just gonna say I'm even more nervous now because I didn't even play good.
Ooh, okay, and the last couple of months you had a few roster changes. How do you feel about the team right now?
Like from the boot camp at least, like I feel that we're doing so good and we're finally like finding each other. We're getting really coordinated and everything has been going so good. So I hope we can bring it in the next series.
Okay, well, I'm really excited. So, Kalaris, please tell me more about the next one.
That we shall, Nasira. Thank you very much.